Here. Right. Very good.
Today, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Commissioners regularly scheduled meeting this January 13th, 2026. Happy New Year, everyone. It is now 12:04 here at GHURA's main office in the beautiful village of Senmania. Let's begin with roll call. Vice Chair Sanchez.
Present.
Thank you much. Commissioner Corpus.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Torres.
Present.
Commissioner Rice.
Present.
Thank you. And Commissioner Julia, I believe, is out. So we have a quorum. Let's proceed with item number 2, board meeting announcements, which is located in your packets. First printing Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. Which checks out, and then Sunday, January 11th, which is the second printing. That also checks out. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the approval of previous board minutes of December 11th, 2025, located in the packet.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure that it matters too much, but on the page 9, and looking for the note for award, the amount to not to exceed 5,000,021.
Mhm.
There's no dot 00 indicating it's a straight number.
So noted.
We keep it, so maybe we'll add it just for consistency. Yeah. Good.
To the other impact. If there's nothing further on the minutes, may I call for a motion?
Well, for the 3 or 4 days of the 11th of December 2025.
But that is correct. Okay. Thank you very much. I have a motion on the floor. Can we get a second? Thank you, Mr. Rice, for the second. Any further discussion? Hearing seen, none, may I call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you very much. Motion passes unanimously for the board minutes of December 11th. Thank you very much, commissioners. Moving on to item number 4, new business. Item number 1, intent to award IFB GHURA -26-002, renovation of 109 Santos Court, Aspen, Guam. Madam Executive Director, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman John. Intent of award IFB GHURA -26-002, renovation of 109 Santos Court, Aspen, Guam. Excuse me. Bid opening for the subject project was held on December 16th, 2025 at 2:00 p.m. A total of 10 bidders registered for the bid and given bid specifications, of which 2 submitted a bid. Listed below are the results of the bid submissions, which were opened and read out aloud publicly. Vendor number 1 was Genesis Tech Corporation with a bid bond cashier's check at 15% of the total bid amount. The project is for 150 consecutive calendar days. Was awarded for base bid item number 1 at $223,000 and additive bid item of $29,400 for a total award of $252,400. The second vendor that submitted a bid was Ian Corporation with a bid bond 15% of total bid amount and base bid item number 1 at $612,641 and an additive bid item at $14,944 for a total bid amount of $627,585. The government estimate for this was $286,881.19. And the following page shows Genesis Tech Corporation's item descriptions for the project. And then page 3 shows Ian Corporation's bid submission, and it does show that for base bid 1, there were no detail work submitted for the $612,641 bid amount. And in summary, the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority's GHURA's mission is to provide affordable, decent, safe, and sanitary housing through the maintenance of our existing units to ensure that the facilities owned and managed by GHURA are safe and appealing to the residents. GHURA has acquired a single-family home in Asan. The unit will be added to the rental inventory under the Renaissance Affordable Rental Program. The unit currently requires renovation in order to meet the current housing standards. The renovation includes standard improvements, partial perimeter fencing, and a retaining wall to address erosion at the rear of the unit. In review of the bid result, Genesis Tech Corporation provided the lowest responsive and responsible bid. The committee members determined to proceed with the award of the project to Genesis Tech Corporation in the amount of $252,400 for bid item number 1 in the amount of $223,000 and the additive bid item in the amount of $29,400. The following project timeline is 150 consecutive calendar days at the cost of $252,400 with no option periods. And if you have any questions, I believe we do have staff in the boardroom, or let's see, Sunny from A&E is also virtually attending.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions?
Oh, yeah, I was just wondering, where is this in Absam?
It's right close to the mayor's office. It's actually A little bit, by the mayor's office area.
It's almost like, right,
Yeah.
there's housing up there too, right?
Yes, sir.
Rural housing.
Pass it on the right,
It's on the left side.
pass it on the left.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's on the trade side.
Yeah, it's on the,
Okay.
That's on the, going towards the hill, right?
no, it's on the flat surface.
Oh, it's on the flat.
Yeah, flat surface.
Any other questions? None? Okay, if not, make call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the kind of award IB-GHURA -26-002 renovation of 109 Santos Court, Alson, Guam, and the award to this is Tech Corporation, the amount of $252,400 for bid item number 1 in the amount of $223,000. An additional bid in the item amount of $29,400. This project timeline is is 150 consecutive calendar days at the cost of $22,400 with no option periods.
So noted, thank you. We have a motion on the floor, maybe a second. One second. Thank you, Commissioner Carl, for the second. Any further discussion? No. Hearing and seeing none, may call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you very much. Motion passes unanimously for IFB-GHURA -26-002. Moving on to number 2, change order number 1, GHURA -25-007. Renovation of 8 public housing units at AMP2 and AMP3. Madam Executive Director, your floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman. If I may, please, I need to request that this item for the change order number 1 be tabled until the next meeting.
So noted. Let's move on to item number 3, resolution number FY 2026-009. Resolution approving the write-off of tenant accounts receivable as of December 31st, 2025. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Resolution number FY 2026-009, resolution approving the write-off of tenant accounts receivable as of December 31st, 2025. Whereas the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority, GHURA, is the Guam Public Housing Authority that provides decent homes and suitable living environments for Guam families of low income to afford to pay for safe, sanitary, and decent dwelling accommodations. And whereas the governance and well-being of GHURA is vested in the Board of Commissioners, BoC, and empowered by 12 Guam Code Annotated, Chapter 5, Section 5104, and whereas BoC Resolution Number FY 2018-002, resolution adopting the write-off of policy for uncollectible accounts for GHURA rental properties, excuse me, and whereas in the normal course of business, the authority is involved in transactions that result in monies being owed to GHURA for which they are unable to collect, and as necessary, whereas the property site managers and Section 8 administrator submit summaries of debts considered to write off to prevent overstating of assets which are affecting the authority's financial performance, and whereas currently GHURA's receivables include outstanding accounts which have remained in GHURA's books for over 90 days as of December 31st, 2025, as indicated below. Property site AMP number 1, write-off amount $5,149.91. AMP 2, write-off amount $3,650.43. AMP 3, write-off amount $1,026.23. AMP 4, write-off amount $8,027.01, for a total write-off amount for this quarter at $17,853.58. Whereas GHURA, through the property site managers and Section 8 administrator, exert diligent collection efforts in pursuit of outstanding receivables, and although ongoing collection efforts are abandoned on these accounts, GHURA reserves the right and duty to collect should the opportunity arise. And whereas it is in accordance with GHURA's procedure and good business practices to write off accounts receivables after all reasonable collection procedures have been exhausted and there is not a reasonable expectation that the accounts will be collected. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the BoC approves writing off $17,853.58 of GHURA receivables after all reasonable collection procedures have been exhausted and there is not a reasonable expectation that the accounts will be collected. And the following pages from page 6 to page, sorry, do have the individual AMP sites listing what those write-off amounts are, the reason for the write-off amounts, up to page 13 or page 14. So if you have any questions, we do have 2 of our AMP site managers online to answer questions, and also our controller, Francis.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Sure.
Whenever a tenant moves out, or moves in, I would say, we're putting down, an average of $150 security deposit. I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't even, it doesn't come close to the cleaning charge after. So they're always gonna be owing on the way out, regardless of if they move out on their own or wanted to get off the program. Maybe the security deposit can be raised a little bit,
Okay.
or is this like the norm, right? When they move out of the unit and they have a cleaning, there's nothing wrong with the unit at all. And the $150 deposit, and I don't want to make them into a perfect, but I think it might be pertinent to raise that a little bit.
So noted. I think the first question is, how is the security deposit being derived? Do we know?
I believe it's standard, but they asked us could.
What purpose or function does the security deposit serve?
Then pretty standard,
Yeah, it's just
kind of is.
Yeah.
Ms. Philly, Patrick, the security deposit amount, is that, I know it's standard, but what's that set based on?
Is that a federal recommendation?
I don't think it's that controlled. Philly, Patrick?
Yes, I believe it's just a standard amount. I'm not certain what the what the 150 is based on. Maybe Philly might have more insight on the dollar amount.
We'll look into it.
Yeah, could you take a look and then come back and let us know?
Will do.
For discussion of whether or not that's a practical amount or there's an opportunity to raise that at least for discussion purposes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say that, the amounts you're seeing, represent, I think, the minority of the lesser amount of those vacancies that come up. The higher amount you see for cleaning, repair, as mentioned, as you see, it comes up periodically where, the unit is just in such bad condition, or they abandon the unit, or they say they're gonna move out and move out early, and just, it's a mess. Before we can conduct our move out inspection and everything. But I would say, and maybe the AMS can concur, or can chime in on this. The vast majority of move outs aren't really bad. Like this.
They vary in case by case.
Yeah. Do you have anything you'd like to add in, Ms. Philly, on that? What's your experience with the move outs?
The move out, basically what you did say, they move out, they abandon, they do give us fair warning. They leave their things behind. So where the $150, yes, we know it doesn't cover all the damages done to the unit, but at the same time, we did try $250, and even that, it took the applicants a lot of time to come up with that money. So the constant counseling that we do for the residents and give the residents in regards to the moving out, that they take their stuff with them, sometimes it falls on deaf ears. So we're left holding the bag, and the bottom line is that we try to collect through their tax refund.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at least for the sake of discussion, right? Putting it out there so that we can, we know what's what. If you could just put something together, and then for next meeting, we can have some information.
Okay.
Just a review.
Okay.
Would that be good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you much.
Yes.
Any other questions, commissioners? Not, I think just pretty standard. Okay, if not, may call for the motion.
Make a motion,
Sure.
make a motion to, approve resolution number FY 2026-009. Resolution approving the write-off of tenant accounts receivables as of December 31st, 2025. That's,
You can just put in the total amount, Commissioner.
with the total amount of 17,853.58.
Okay, thank you much. We have a motion on the floor. Make it a second. Right, thank you, Commissioner Carr, for the second. Any further discussion?
Thank you for that.
Okay, if not, may I call for the vote? All in favor, please say aye. 2, 3, 4. Thank you very much. Motion passes unanimously for resolution number FY 2026-009. Moving on to old business item number 5, resolution number FY 2026-005. A resolution approving the FY 2026 annual PHA plan for public housing significant amendment number 1. Madam Executive Director.
Resolution number FY 2026-005, resolution approving the FY 2026 annual PHA plan for public housing, significant amendment number 1. Whereas pursuant to Section 511 of the Quality Housing and Work Responsibility Act, QHWRA of 1998, the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority is mandated to develop and submit a public housing agency, PHA, annual plan to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. And whereas the FY 2026 annual PHA plan for public housing is a comprehensive guide to the authority's policies, programs, operations, and strategies for meeting local housing needs and goals for implementation for fiscal year 2026. The FY 2026 annual PHA plan for public housing was approved by HUD on August 25th, 2025. And whereas the FY 2026 annual PHM plan for public housing was updated to reflect the addition of number 1, public housing asset management projects, or AMP, have updated their admissions and continued occupancy policy, ACUP, to include HOTMA updates, which was approved by the BoC on September 16, 2025. Second, the FY 24 audit was completed by Ernst & Young on August 15, 2025. Findings were found and are proactively being addressed by the Public Housing Authority, PHA. And whereas the FY 2026 annual PHA plan for public housing, significant amendment number 1, includes a substantial deviation to the policy regarding displacement preference for participants under the Emergency Housing Voucher Program, EHV, who will be displaced through no fault of their own, but by governmental action due to the end of the funding timeline established by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. And whereas the goals and objectives of the FY 2026 annual PHA plan for public housing, significant amendment number 1, are consistent with Guam's 5-year consolidated plan, which identifies and prioritizes the housing and community development needs of Guam. And whereas this FY 2026 annual PHA plan for public housing, significant amendment number 1, was prepared in accordance with 24 CFR Part 903. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority hereby approves the FY 2026 annual PHA plan for public housing, significant amendment number 1 for the fiscal year 2026. And then the following pages from page 17 all the way to page 20 or to page 31 do have the information that they're referencing. And if you have any questions, we do have property site managers. Philly is joining us virtually if you have any questions.
I apologize, Mr. Commissioner, I'd like to make recommend one correction to the resolution.
Sure.
And it's actually on the fourth whereas clause, where it reads end of the funding timeline to scratch timeline. It's actually an end of the funding. It's not that the time to spend hasn't expired, it's actually the money is gone, it's been spent.
Okay.
Judy, what's the feedback you've been getting from our tenants?
We've let them know for a while, and some have started coming off the program. Obviously there's worry,
Yeah.
right? The original intent, what HUD put out was that funding would run through about 2031.
Yeah.
But nationally, the funds allocated that Congress allocated to EHV. Were spent nationally far before that timeline ended.
Sure.
So HUD said, here's the last amount you're getting this, because there's no money left.
Right.
And so that, based on our calculation, took us to March, based on the EHVs we have there. So, obviously there's worry, but, this is one thing we're able to do, is to try to give a preference into public housing.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're not able to general transfer them into public housing.
Yeah, that was gonna be my follow-up question.
We did look into that, that the regulations don't allow us to do that, but it does allow us to give them preference, to help move them up on the list for public housing, should they apply.
So they'll be on the waiting list, basically.
Correct.
With pressure.
Yeah, and on the HCV side.
Yeah.
Since we're not issuing any new vouchers right now, there's really no vouchers that we can give out.
Yeah.
We're on a pause, because of the amount of funding available for the vouchers, so we can maintain what we have.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
And as you mentioned, this is because of just the pool running dry on this.
Correct, the national pool,
The national pool.
correct. So just want to be clear, it's not that GHURA overspent, it's the money that Congress had appropriated to HUD is gone. Congress decided not to appropriate anymore to EHP to continue funding it, so.
So now they're just exhausting what's left.
Correct.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, what went into the congressional reason why they said it just stopped?
I mean, EHV was a COVID era program, and I think Congress said, hey, COVID's over, there's no reason to fund it any longer from what was already appropriated.
How many people are impacted by it?
I've got to get the updated number, but I'd say last I checked, we're about 69 families. That may they'll be on the program coming up to March.
Good explanation.
Okay. Commissioners, any further questions on it?
Sorry, can I state this too? It's important for everyone to know the families who were put in by EHB always knew it was a temporary program. It's not a regular voucher.
Yeah.
But the entitlement wasn't gonna last forever. The only downside is that, it ended sooner than was initially projected. Those were not projections we gave to the families either. It was always until the money, as long as we could keep them housed under EHB. But coming into the program, every EHB family knew this was a temporary program.
So, yeah, they're not being caught off.
Well, they were always encouraged, to transition out.
Chairman,
Yes,
is there any plans in the future of building more housing? More
Abs-
public housing?
Not public housing. I think our fair clock limit, we can build one more. We're actually looking into that. And then we hit our federal limit is 751. We have 750. So we're looking to build the last one, but after that we can't build any more, and HUD won't provide funding to support any more than what the law allows.
Could it be a possibility to move those 750 into the home program? And then build 750 more? Requisition the funds from the US government?
They won't provide the funding to build those additional homes or to support them. The ones that were built, we could RAD them, but that's nothing would be able to happen quick enough to support these families.
Yeah.
If I may, Didi, I think if I'm remembering correctly, with the EHV program participants, I think they were hoping at some point that they could be absorbed into the regular voucher programs, but because of all the funding cuts and then guidelines from HUD that we cannot issue any more vouchers, that is the reason why for the past 6 months, our Section 8 staff has been really working diligently to inform all those EHV participants that the program is ending. And these are the only ways we can try to help you. We couldn't, have them transition over to regular vouchers because we're not allowed to, based on, HUD's budget and their guidance to tell us no more issuing any more new vouchers.
So the maximum number of housing stock that you own is just based on the population? or-
No, that was set by, it's called the Fair Cloth Amendment. Miss Philly educated. This is one of the first things I asked when I came to GHURA. And then I looked it up. Actually, it was in the 90s, I want to say early 90s, that Congress said, okay, here's the limit, whatever, this is the max public housing. I don't want to say they ended the program, but they went away from building new public housing and said, this is your max. This is what it is nationally. So each PHA has a set limit of public housing they can have. For Guam, GHURA, it's 751. So we have 750 out of 751. And we're looking to see if there's still some funding available to build that last one. That's it's something. But yeah. There'll be no more public housing unless Congress removes that statute and provides more funding to construct. But public housing, aside from what we have now, is pretty much a done program.
Do you know how they quantified that 750?
I think it was based on population at the time and what Congress had said.
No, not you, but in general, like they could potentially come back and re-quantify.
They could, but HUD themselves, I mean, the public housing is a very old program. So maintaining what we have, but they've moved into other areas to provide housing. So on the IRS side, you have light tech properties, you have other affordable rentals, you have other multifamily. So there are, newer programs meant to contribute to housing. But the traditional model of government-owned subsidized housing or the projects or housing projects kind of went away, started going away with the Housing and Community Development Act in the 1970s. And then the 90s was kind of the nail in the coffin. They said, we're not going this route anymore. But surely if Congress wanted to go back and start a different direction and go back, they could. But this is where we're at.
And the acquisition we did earlier, that's on a different.
Completely different program, yeah. The thing about public housing is that it supports the operation, so none of the housing that we develop for any of the other programs, none of them are gonna, have dedicated funding provided by HUD to support its operations and maintenance. So it's a different model.
Okay, thank you much. If there's no more questions, commissioners may call for a motion.
I'll make a motion. This is under old business. This is to make a motion to pass resolution number FY 2026-005. Resolution approving FY 2026 annual PHA plan for public housing. Significant amendment number 1.
Okay.
With note of corrections.
Thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor. May I get a second? All right, thank you, Commissioner, for the second. Any further discussion? If not, may I call for the vote? All in favor, please say aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you very much. Motion passes unanimously for FY 2026-005, subject to the correction. Moving on to item number 2, resolution number FY 2026-007, a resolution approving up to 6868 new temporary full-time equivalents to provide ancillary support for the community development block grant disaster recovery. Madam Executive Director, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman. If I may, I apologize, but we need to table this item on the agenda until the next meeting. It's not quite there. We have some changes to it.
So noted.
Actually, Ms. Liz, if I may, could
Go
we,
ahead.
because we're gonna submit for the new agenda, could we just remove this, ask them to vote to remove this, since we're not gonna take this up?
For the next meeting?
Well, we're not gonna take it up, at the current announced number, right? So the agenda, remember, we're gonna adjust the number.
Sure.
So maybe we just scratch this, because the new agenda will have the updated number. Correct. And
Okay,
then-
a different number. Okay. Yes, if we may do that, please, Chairman. Just
So the ask is.
table it all together.
we'll
It will
remove-
presented with the new number.
Yeah, because we'll add it on we'll submit a new one on the agenda when we have to do the announcement.
Okay. Okay, so commissioners, there's a recommendation on the floor to remove resolution number FY 2026-007 from the agenda, pending a new one. So that's a motion on the floor.
I'll make a
And you could just add it until reschedule, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry.
You could remove the resolution until reschedule. Before
So
the board.
the motion is to remove FY 2026-007, subject to reschedule, correct? Okay, there's a motion on the floor. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you very much for the second. Any further discussion? Moved. Okay, thank you very much. May I call for the vote? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, thank you very much. Resolution number FY 2026-007 is passes for its removal. Okay, moving on to item number 3, summary of the Executive Director Board evaluations for 2025.
Update.
Ms. Kim, I think this.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm pleased to report, thank you for your patience. I know we're working with everyone, the scheduling and all that, so we're happy to report back. This is a mandate required by 5 GCA, requiring that agency heads be evaluated annually. And so It was the board back in 2019 that voted to collectively rate the executive director individually, send it to HR, we'll tabulate it, and HR is obligated to report back. So here's my report based on the evaluation of the executive director, Elizabeth Napoli. Her review period is July 8, 2024 to July 7, 2025. So this represents an annual evaluation. Based on 13 dimensions, I'll go ahead and just list it off. Her leadership, strategic planning, communicates vision and direction, champions innovation, promotes ethics, builds relationships, decision-making, leads change, inspires and directs actions, promotes diversity, accountability, fiscal fiduciary responsibility, business acumen, and effective operations and maintenance of HUD's plans and projects. So as a result of those 13 dimensions, Director Napoli rated an overall highly satisfactory performance evaluation. And you all voted to retain her as the executive director for the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. So pursuant to Board Resolution FY 2022-06, unfortunately, there's no salary increment adjustment, not like what you see with the other autonomous, always moving theirs. So Director Napoli will remain at her current salary. As an HR professional, I do recommend that this position do get removed and adjusted when we come back to the board for our future compensation study. It's been 4 years, this position hasn't moved. So we'll do the study, make our recommendations accordingly, but I think it's time to move. It hasn't moved in 4 years.
Yeah.
So just a heads up on that. And a heads up to my sidekick controller friend listening. So yeah,
Okay,
okay.
so noted.
Okay.
Right.
So with that, I respectfully request you to vote and recommend adoption of my report.
Okay.
After you vote, we will be posting it on the website as mandated as well.
Okay.
So thank you for the opportunity.
Right, thank you very much, Ms. Kim, for your presentation and the compilation of the report into your team. Commissioners, any questions, any comments for the record?
Great, I'm glad she got a highly satisfactory.
Yeah.
Though she's not, she doesn't get any,
Yeah.
raise for
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And she's retained, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Anybody else? No? Well, Madam Executive Director, I'd like to say, that it's been a sincere pleasure working with you and the staff. I've noticed a lot of things in the years that I've been here. I know we've gone through a lot of changes, even on the onset of me coming on board. But I will say that, one of the things that I'm very proud of is not only the work that has happened, but I can't help but feel as time passes and progresses, just the increased engagement the employees have, and just the overall professionalism and I really believe that GHURA is one of the best places in the government to be in work, and I think that it has a lot to be said about the leadership and the people that make it every day, right? I know that the job is not easy. Lots of people don't necessarily agree with us, but I think regardless, I think the direction is still clear, that we do what we can, and our mandate and our mission is really not only to build housing, but build community. I think we do that, and we strive to do that with everything we do. And so I just wanted to say thank you for your continued commitment and for all the things that go unsaid and unseen. And I hope you know that we really appreciate the work that you do.
Thank you so much for that, Chairman. And what really helps, it's really been my pleasure to be here at GHURA because it's one agency that really has a lot of excellent staff with the institutional knowledge. They're very supportive. We have a good team that works together. We really try to work through whatever challenges, conflicts there are. And it also helps to have a really great secondhand partner in crime, right? With my deputy director. Okay, let me take the crime word away. I'm just joking, but seriously, having a good partner to work with where we're able to kind of like draw on each other's strengths and weaknesses has really been, I think, the reason for our having passion to do this job, even if we're here only temporarily. So thank you also so much to, you Board of Commissioners for continuing to be very supportive of everything that we present to you, because that really does make a big difference as well. And I know the staff is also very appreciative of your continuing to help us in our mission. So thank you very much for, your evaluation of my performance. But thank you also to the staff.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And I think with that, Ms. Kim, in addition to looking at this position, I mean, if there's any more positions that need to be looked at, and I think we expressed that in the
Yeah.
past, right?
My marching orders
Yeah.
from the board.
Please make sure that we look at it, because we do need to take care of the staff for sure, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think this needs to be voted on, yes?
Yeah, to adopt the report.
Okay. May I get a motion on the floor, Commissioner?
Found the summary, the report, the summary of executive management performance evaluation for Elizabeth F. Napoli, executive director. The review period being July 8, 2024 to July 7, 2025.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve and accept this report. May I get a second? Okay. Thanks, Commissioner Park for the second. Any further discussion? Okay, if not, may I call for the vote? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you very much, Commissioners. Congratulations, Madam Executive Director. The motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Can I just
Okay.
have one final
Yes,
thing
ma'am.
to say? HR will be back to send you out her next performance evaluation.
Great.
Come June
Okay.
this year.
Okay.
And then we'll send out the deputies around the same time.
So noted.
Deputy Fernando's,
Thank you very much.
because he's doing August. Okay,
Okay, you're gonna-
thank you.
Thank you much.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to item number 6, Executive Director's Report, Project Updates. Madam Executive Director, floor is yours.
I think at this point, I just really want to mention that, we're off to a new start in 2026, and we're going to be starting with our audit for FY 2025 and getting a new independent auditor for the FY 2026 audit. And we have some exciting things coming up, which we will be giving you more details on. The Deputy Director and his team are working on a housing summit that we hope to have in April, the first week of April, right, Deputy, of this year. And then, I'm sure there are phases of his CDBGDR program that he will be announcing shortly as well. We do have a groundbreaking that will be coming up that we will advise you about regarding the GPD Eastern substation that we've been trying to get going for a couple of years now. So we're excited for that. But those are the main things that I wanted to mention to give you a heads up on. So thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, then let's move on to item number 7, general discussion announcements. Next proposed scheduled board meeting is Tuesday, January 27th, 2026 at 12 p.m. Right, please, commissioners, mark your calendar. Of course, we will confirm that date and that time, but January 27th. Any other discussion or announcements from the floor? None? Okay. If not, then may I call for motion to adjourn at 12:54. Right. Motion to adjourn.
I'll say.
Second, okay, got a second? Anybody?
I'm sorry, just for the camera, for the transcript later, could we confirm the initial motion and then the second?
Okay,
A little louder, I'm sorry,
sorry,
just
motion,
so the camera
Sure.
covers it.
motion to adjourn at 12:54, seconded by Vice Chair.
Who was the mover?
I'm-
Oh, you moved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Okay,
move it. Yeah,
got it.
and then I'll second.
And then, any objections? None? Okay. Okay. So, we are adjourned, 12:54. Thank you much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I thought I heard
No, no.
Commissioner Rice make the motion, that's why I wasn't clear.
I sound like, I can sound like